Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Uncommon News. The format's going to be a little bit different today than it normally is. I attempted to make the video earlier this morning when I was at home, but I had some formatting problems with the computer, and so I'm going to go ahead and just do it on the way home today. So there's a lot going on down here at the border that the mainstream media hasn't really been talking about. We're going to go ahead and cover some of those things today. That's going to be the primary focus. And we're going to also talk about some stuff that's going on overseas. So stay tuned for the entire episode. Watch it all the way through. And if you want to speed up the video, you can go ahead and check that settings tab. Increase the speed to 1.5 or 1.25, whatever floats your boat there. So, all right, let's get right into it. There's quite a bit going on down here. As you know, at least you should have heard, the Trump administration is trying to designate the Mexican drug cartels as international terrorists so that the DOD can start fighting them like they should. Because if you've been watching this channel for any period of time, if you've been paying attention to the things I've been talking about for the last year, then you understand how insurgency wars are fought and how they're funded. Most importantly, if you've been watching this channel, you understand how insurgencies are funded. The number one way that guerrilla forces fund themselves is in the illicit trade of narcotics. And the Mexican drug cartels are the biggest drug traffickers inside the United States. So it's huge money. It's very big money that is used to fund their operations internationally. And they use that money to purchase weapons to continue the operation. And they assassinate people and they kill people that get in the way. Every single day it happens. And so because of that, the other day, real close to the border in Mexico, I'm going to leave the links to all the stories I'm talking about. I'm going to leave links in the description box below, so if you want to check them out, you can go ahead and check them out in the description box below. So just the other day in northern Mexico, real close to the Texas border, some of the Mexican drug cartels got into a gunfight with some Mexican police officers. I think there was about 20 people that got killed last time I checked. And so the conflict is really heating up down there at the border. It's very fragile. It's a very, very fragile situation. All right, and so they arrested they charged a man in Arizona a couple weeks ago for aiding and abetting drug traffickers or migrants that are crossing the border illegally. This guy claims to be a humanitarian aid worker. He's basically leaving water out in the desert for people who are coming over into the United States illegally. And on the surface, it seems honorable. And obviously, it depends on his true intentions whether or not what he's doing is honorable. But if you've been following my channel for any amount of time, then you've heard me talk about Frontline America's documentary and how they've documented these quote unquote aid groups giving supplies and refuge to Mexican drug cartels. They've documented it. It's on film. You can go to Frontline America's website and you can watch the documentary and you can see for yourself how these quote unquote humanitarian aid workers aid and abet narco terrorists from Mexico. I mean, by the dozens, they come here with these huge backpacks full of drugs, crystal meth, fentanyl, cocaine, opioids, nasty stuff that kills our children every single day. That stuff that's coming up here from Mexico kills our kids every single day. They put the fentanyl in the marijuana. They put the fentanyl in the cocaine. And when the kids smoke it, it kills them. And so it just gets written off as another drug overdose, when in fact it's an act of war. It's chemical warfare that they are perpetrating upon citizens of the United States, and it should be treated as such. All right, so I'll go ahead and leave some of those links down there in the comment section below. We're going to move on from the border region. We're going to talk about some other things that have been going on in the United States recently with Islamic terrorists. So there was a man in New York recently that was charged with conspiring to commit acts of terrorism inside of New York City. He was a Hezbollah operative inside the United States, and he was recruiting people to join his paramilitary organization inside the United States. He was seeking material to make bombs, and he was mapping out targets to attack, and he was looking for sources for weapons and ammunition. So they arrested this guy. They charged him. And then there was another guy in Chicago that was recently charged with attempting to provide material support to ISIS. There was he was interacting with an undercover agent, and they busted him. There was another guy from Missouri that was attempting to do the same thing. He was attempting to send money to ISIS. FBI busted him for that. And this is all within the last couple weeks, guys. So this stuff, I know you don't really hear about this stuff on the news, but it happens every single day. And that's the reason why I bring these stories to you. And all the links are going to be down there in the description box. All right, so there was another woman from, I believe she was from Indiana. I could be wrong. But she went over to Syria, I think it was Syria, to bring $30,000 in cash and gold to her husband and her brother-in-law, so that they could continue fighting for ISIS. So she was actively funding her husband and her brother-in-law over there. She got busted. Now, I'm going to go off topic a little bit. It's not Islamic jihadism, but it's homegrown terrorism. There was this lady and her boyfriend from Toledo, Ohio, and they were part of this online death cult group where they glorify mass shootings. They like to look at images of death and destruction and things like that. And so this girl and her boyfriend from Ohio were planning a mass casualty event in, I believe it was in Toledo, and they were going to attack some pipeline and some bar, and they were gathering materials to make a bomb, and they were training with firearms. So they were preparing to familiarize themselves. They were familiarizing themselves with firearm, and they were training. So they were going to carry it out, and they got busted ahead of time. So good on the FBI for that one. We're going to move overseas. We're going to talk about a couple things overseas. Oh, I almost forgot. There was a Houston lady last month, and I don't know if you heard this, but it's a pretty big story. I can't believe the media hasn't really did. I don't remember them talking about it. So if you heard about this story, let me know in the comment section below. But it's on the FBI's website. There's a lady out of Texas that mailed 3 active bombs to different government officials last month, in the middle of the month last month. She sent a bomb to Obama. She sent a bomb to the governor of Texas, and she sent a bomb to I think it was the some direct. I think it was the director of the Social Security Administration. 3 different government officials. She sent active explosive devices to them in the mail, and thankfully it didn't it didn't go. They didn't go off. But in that news article, the thing I found that was very odd is that they didn't say what her political motivation was. They didn't say if she was right or left wing. And the crazy thing is that the media didn't even really talk about it. And so I really want to know what her motivation was. Because if she's right wing, then man, that could have been the beginning of the Second Civil War. That could have popped it off. So as you know, things are really fragile inside the United States right now. And I'm watching Virginia very closely because of this SB 16 and SB 64. Because there are a lot of good old boys in Virginia that are not going to put up with that crap. I mean, as you can see, because of all the sanctuary cities and sanctuary counties in Virginia that are just left and right passing sanctuary bills like right away. You can tell that the people in Virginia and in the countryside in Virginia, they're not going to take that crap from those liberals inside the cities. They're not going to sit down. They're not going to sit down and let that happen. I mean, for crying out loud, look at their flag. It says Sic Semper Tyrannis is the flag of Virginia. Death to tyrants. I just, it's crazy to think that they could get away with that crap in Virginia. I don't think they're going to be able to get away with it. First of all, it's unconstitutional. You should watch my other video on why SB 16 is unconstitutional. I'll leave a link up in the top right corner for you there. A little information thing's going to pop up. You can watch that. A lot of people are talking about it's unconstitutional. They say it's unconstitutional, but they don't explain why it's unconstitutional. In that video, I explain why it's unconstitutional. So we're going to go ahead and move. We're going to talk about a couple things overseas. Some Christian persecution's been going on in China. There was about 100 people from a Christian church that got arrested in China a couple days ago, and they were charged with. I think the official charge had something to do with bad business practices or whatever, but they were passing out gospel tracts to people in China, and the Chinese government doesn't like that, so they arrested them, like over 100 people. So that's messed up. Violation of human rights right there. If you don't, if you don't think that the Chinese government is a dictatorship, I don't know. There's nothing I can say to convince you that it is. I mean, for crying out loud, you can't even have a conversation with people about what you believe. That's just medieval crap that's going on over there in China. It's, in 2019, that's the way it is over there. You'd think we've moved past that and people can speak their mind, but nope, not in China. And then I think I'm gonna end with this story in Burkina Faso. I think it was a couple days ago, or a little over a week and a half, 2 weeks. About 14 Christians were murdered as they were having a church service. Some Muslims went up into church and slaughtered 14 Christians, including infant children, were among those who were killed. And so, that's the kind of stuff that they do. It's just to be expected. And guys, I really, if you're a loyal member of my audience, I really want you guys, if you haven't familiarized yourself with defensive shooting tactics, if you don't have a firearm or a way to defend yourselves, I really urge you to get a firearm and learn how to use it. And not just that, but actually carry it with you. Because God forbid there come a time where you need a gun to save yourself and those around you, and you don't have it. Because if you can't defend yourself in a blink of an eye, in a moment's notice, then you could be part of the body count when they're chalking the lines around the event. So, guys, if you like this content, please give it a thumbs up, like, comment, share, and check out the description box below for links to my eBay page. I'll be selling my book soon. It's called Immediate Combat Fortifications. I'm releasing this book in preparation for a coming insurgent revolution inside the United States to help you defend yourself, your family, and your neighbors. And I'll also be selling these phones that don't have Google on them. They don't have any tracking software. They don't monitor your conversations and listen for keywords to sell you ads. They're very secure phones. They have a Linux operating system called Ubuntu Touch. It's an Ubuntu phone. They'll be on eBay for approximately $125. They're refurbished Nexus 5 phones, and so we're attempting to take the power back from the big tech giants who exploit our data and who disregard our privacy. So if you want to support my efforts, go ahead and check that eBay account out. Check out that eBay page. See what I got for sale. I haven't listed the books yet, but they'll be there soon. So stick around for that. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the next one.